Hey, this is Mark A. Altman, and welcome to a special week of the 430 movie as we pay tribute to the late Zach Galifianakis. Wait a second. No, that's not Zach Galifianakis. What? That's Robert Redford.
His death are greatly exaggerated.
Anyway, we're paying tribute to the great Robert Redford. And as always, to curate our fantasy theme week, I'm once again here with Mr. Monday, Stephen Melching.
Our listeners can't see this, but I'm nodding and smiling like Zach Galifianakis in the Robert Redford meme.
And on Tuesday, it's Darren Dochterman.
I have no joke.
This is no joking matter. This is Robert Redford we're talking about here.
Yep.
And finally, last but not least, on Wednesday, it's Mr. Ashley Edward Miller.
I can't swim.
Who are those guys? And on Thursday, it's me, Mark A. Altman. And we're going to pull off a sting this week. We're going to have a week as we pay tribute to the great Robert Redford, who passed away last week. And what a loss to cinema it is. Steve Melching, can you tell us a little bit about, he not only was an amazing actor, but a director, a producer, a philanthropist, a connoisseur of the
baker,
arts,
a candlestick maker.
I don't know about that.
He was a dessert topping and a floor wax.
Thief, warrior, king. Wait, no, that's Conan. That's Conan. Okay.
No, yeah, like you said, Robert Redford was all those things and more. He was born in Santa Monica in 1936. He went to high school in Van Nuys, California.
Van Nuys.
And was expelled from University of Colorado in Boulder, then went on to study painting at the Pratt Institute in New York City and acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And starting in the late 50s, early 60s, he started performing in plays in New York City and getting work in television. Ended up doing
in New York City.
In New York City, in the city, New Jack City.
In the city.
Ended up doing a couple dozen guest spots on various TV shows in the 60s before starting to get roles in movies. He famously really wanted the role of Benjamin Braddock in The Graduate and appealed to Mike Nichols, who he knew from the theater scene, to cast him in that role. And Nichols is like, no, are you kidding? You're too handsome. You can't play a loser like
That's
Benjamin
right. He
Braddock.
couldn't play a loser. He would just sit around. Like you can't blame, Anne Bancroft for, or Catherine Ross or anyone. I mean,
Right.
Jesus,
You
Murray
can't-
Hamilton
you
would have
can't
slept
be
with him.
this-
at that
He's
point.
not going to need to bang on that, window.
You can't be this
What are you
role in
talking
this
about?
movie, even though it's described exactly like you in the book.
Well,
Yeah,
he,
but Dustin Hoffman was the brilliant casting.
Redford kept going after it, and finally Michaels had to tell him, ask him, like, so have you ever been shot down by a woman? And Redford says, what do you mean?
Right.
He did not understand the question. So anyway, he continued working in films and then was cast in the movie that I'm sure we'll talk about that made him a genuine movie star, and went on to star in made over almost 50 movies as an actor, and also as a produced and executive produced many films. He used a lot of the money he made in his early days to buy his property near Park City, Utah, and founded the Sundance Institute and the film festival that went on to become the Sundance Film Festival, which is, also a huge contribution to the world of cinema. He was a big environmentalist, among other philanthropical causes.
Philanthropical. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
So he was quite a force. I was lucky enough to see him in Telluride one year. He brought his movie All Is Lost to Telluride, and so I saw him in town and introducing the film, and he was just kind of a one-of-a-kind guy.
Man, he sure was. He sure was. I mean, when we all heard that Robert Redford had passed away, we said, it's it's time to end the hiatus, come back to the 4:30 movie, and pay tribute to this, amazing filmmaker.
Temporarily end the hiatus.
Yeah, we're going back on hiatus after this, but then we'll be back, later this year with all new episodes because we didn't complete the 8th season.
That's right.
We'll be back with season 8.5. You know why they do it as 8.5 and not season 9? Because then we have to do the bump and pay for the next season.
That's right. That's how we save money.
We're going to call it 8.5 instead of season 9 to avoid having to give ourselves a raise.
My pay rate's supposed to double on season 9.
Well, it will. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it's twice nothing is still nothing.
Mine is going down for some reason. I don't. I got to talk to my agent.
Season 8.5. So we'll be back with the remainder of season 8. Later this year. But for now, we're talking about the great Robert Redford and this incredible body of work that he leaves behind, and including, as we talked about, the Sundance Institute and his work on behalf of the environment, and just a remarkable guy. He wasn't just a pretty face, as we're about to find out as we turn to Steve Melching to tell us what we'll be watching on Monday.
Yeah, Monday. He leaves behind such an incredible body of work, so many great movies, both as an actor and a director and a producer. And this was kind of a difficult choice. The movie I really wanted to pick for Monday doesn't feel like a Monday movie, so I'm going to save it for later. It feels more like a Thursday.
Not obscure enough?
Feels like a Thursday movie than kicking off a week celebrating Robert Redford. So I'm going to kick off Monday with the movie I alluded to earlier, his breakout starring role as the Sundance Kid in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Paul Newman is Butch Cassidy, and the Sundance Kid is Robert Redford. Catherine Ross is Etta Place.
Dynamite's ready, Butch.
Well, that ought to do it.
Think you used enough dynamite there, Butch?
Most of this is true, and all of it blazes with action. You've never met a pair like Butch and Sundance.
Well, we're back in business, boys and girls.
Outlaws with style, in a class all their own.
You know, when I was a kid, I always thought I was going to grow up to be a hero.
Don't tell me how to rob a bank. I know how to rob a bank.
And anything you ask of me, I'll do. Except one thing. I won't watch you die.
You just keep thinking, Butch. That's what you're good at.
An incredible pair of rugged adventurers, creating a living legend on 2 continents.
But it's just one guy.
Don't you get sick of being right all the time?
They rob trains.
Stop it.
Looted banks.
Manos arriba. They got him up. Ah, you're so damn smart, you read it.
And one girl shared their love and larceny.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head.
What are you doing?
Stealing your woman?
Take her.
Boy, you're a romantic bastard, I'll give you that.
Then, Mr. E.H. Harriman of the Union Pacific put the top lawman in the West on their trail.
They're very good.
If he'd just pay me what he's spending to make me stop robbing him, I'd stop robbing him.
They were outlaws, running out of time and out of space, and a changing world was closing in on them. From the American West to New York, to the dangerous new frontier of Bolivia.
Bolivia.
Well, he'll feel a lot better after he's robbed a couple of banks.
I'll jump first.
And you jump first.
No, I said.
What's the matter with you?
Just a masterpiece of Western cinema, released in September of 1969, directed by the great George Roy Hill, who directed many fine films, including The Sting and Slapshot, written by the legendary William Goldman, of many other amazing films, several of which starred Robert Redford, photographed by Conrad Hall, brilliant DP, music by Burt Bacharach. It was the top grossing film of 1969, earning over $100 million total, and was not well received by critics in the day. Roger Ebert actually called it a turkey. Gene Siskel didn't like it either. A lot of the contemporary critics were lukewarm on it, but it has since only grown in stature and is considered one of the best films of the 60s. And I believe it was number 11 on the WGA's greatest screenplays of all time. Actually, it was one of the first screenplays I ever read because William Goldman reprinted it in his Adventures in the Screen Trade book that we probably all read back in the 80s. Despite having a lukewarm critical reception, it was hugely popular with audiences, and it was nominated for 7 Oscars, for including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Sound, and it won Oscars for screenplay, cinematography, score, and song, but no acting nominations. And Redford was just a delight in this movie, as was his co-star Paul Newman and Catherine Ross, who played his girlfriend in the movie. And it's just has such a wonderful, humorous yet wistful tone about sort of the passing of the Old West. And William Goldman, I think, was initially attracted to the story in part because here were these two characters, Butch and Sundance, who had such a infamous career in the Western U.S. as bank robbers and train robbers, but who had a second act in life when they relocated to Bolivia and resumed their ways down in Bolivia with perhaps even greater fame down there. But just a terrific movie.
You keep thinking, Steve. That's what you're good at.
Always thinking.
So many, like you said, so many quotable lines in the movie. Redford is luminous and charming, and
he's a beautiful man.
You know, I think it's just it's always been one of my favorite Westerns. It's so much fun and just a immensely satisfying movie.
Okay, Darren, 1, 2, 3, go. That's a reference to Ted Cassidy. Come on. I gave you the Star Trek reference.
Ron Cassidy.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play those games.
Darren's gone away.
Darren's gone away.
We've lost Darren.
So I will say,
no, I'm here.
I just want to shout out William Goldman's screenplay, which, I mean, look, I don't have a lot of use for a lot of things that WGA says, but I think that it's probably not an unfair rating for that screenplay. In fact, in some ways, I would rate it higher, simply because I'd say there are 3 scripts that changed the way screenwriters do business in Hollywood and how we write. One of them is absolutely the William Goldman's screenplay for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, because of how conversational it is. You have to understand these documents can be very, very dry, especially before Goldman came on the scene and started doing his thing. They absolutely were. The other 2, I mean, this is a whole other conversation. The other 2 would be Walter Hill's draft of Alien. And I would say Shane Black's spec for Lethal Weapon, for very different reasons. They changed the way we do this business. But William Goldman is, look, he's the first grand master, I would say, simply because he changed how we do business. And, you can see it on display. Like, the attitude that he brings into the script is there on the screen. It makes it into the performance. It makes it into the tone of the film. And I think it's really brilliant.
Yeah. Darren?
It's great. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you now.
It's like a phone commercial.
Who's taking Genesis? No one's taking Genesis.
This is not the Star Trek show. Let's stick with let's start with the Robert Redford stuff.
Sorry, I forgot.
So yeah, I mean it's a movie that is set in a time period that is not the time period that it's set in. It's like a future movie set in Western times because it is completely current in the portrayals of the characters, and no one is playing to the 1800s at all. It is a modern movie, and I think that's one of the reasons why some of the critics were a little confused by it, because it's a little jarring if you're not with it. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is raindrops keep falling on my head, appearing in the movie for apparently no reason, and it completely takes you out of the movie. It's wonderful, and it was certainly a huge hit, but it completely removes you from the storyline, and sort of it takes a side jog into pop music, which is
Robert Redford would agree with you. He didn't like the song either. I, however, do think it works perfectly fine.
Well, I'm with Mark.
Well, that's your selection for karaoke, I seem to recall.
No, ready to take the chance again for foul play.
Oh, right.
Or the Mikado. It's the lyrics.
3 Little Maids from School.
Yeah, I think what Darren said is absolutely true in the sense, not what he said about raindrops falling on my head, but what he said about it being a postmodern Western, which is why people had a tough time wrapping their head around it. I mean, if you look at the postmodern Westerns of that era, like Wild Bunch, Butch Cassidy, a lot of the critics at the time did not like these movies because they were so used to the classical John Ford, Howard Hawks type of Western, which are great. But even like something like Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, which was later in John Ford's career, they kind of didn't know what to do when it inverts the tropes. And I think with Butch Cassidy, it was just ahead of its time. I mean, it's so brilliant. And the audience got it, but a lot of the critics didn't. And I think we all read that Adventures in the Screen Trade, and what screenwriter didn't, or aspiring screenwriter didn't. It's such a great book. Bill Goldman, of course, coined that great axiom, nobody knows anything, which I think we probably all quoted 100 times, and it's true doubly when it comes to me.
Was he also Hello, He Lied?
No.
No, that was Art Linson, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's such a brilliantly written movie. Connie Hall's cinematography is stunning. The performances are great. The ensemble is great because, you'd mentioned Catherine Ross, the luminous Catherine Ross. But also, Ted Cassidy's in it. There are a lot of great character actors in it, but it's an era that's long gone, which is so interesting because, of course, it comes out in 1968, which is also when, the times they are changing in a serious way. The world that people grew up in, the baby boomers, is changing so dramatically. And that's what this movie is about. And these guys don't fit in anymore. And that's when they go to Bolivia, which is just so great. All the stuff in Bolivia is so great. And just the fact that the Sundance Kid will follow him anywhere. But that whole scene at the beginning, I mean, we've seen the shootout in the bar a million times, but when he accuses the Sundance Kid of cheating at cards, and the guy says, "I'm saying you're a liar," and it turns out that when he finds out he's the Sundance Kid, I think you should just, thank us to tell him to stay. Invite us to stay. I mean,
I can't do anything for you, Sundance.
I mean, it's so great. It's funny and it's melancholy. I mean, of course, that ending is, and I think also that's another reason for the mixed reaction because nobody was used to an ending like that.
Yeah.
Which is surprising and, upsetting. And that's why it's crazy, of course, that the sequel, Butch Cassidy, Butch and Sundance, the early years, but you couldn't do the later years. But it's a wonderful movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I easily could have picked it on Thursday if you hadn't picked it already.
And of course, Kenner had a whole line of toys.
That's right.
Butch and Sundance, the early days. And they had the same thing as the Star Wars toys. They had a little mini catalog.
Trash compactor?
In each the Butch and Sundance trash compactor. That would have been hilarious.
Oh my God! I always, that's why I love doing 4:30 movie. I did not know that. I did not know there were Butch and Sundance toys. Like, that's so cool.
There were. They weren't good, but there were.
And that's also a movie I watched on TV like all the time. It was on, and I love watching it. And then finally, when I got to see it on the big screen, just marveled at how much even better it was on the big screen. But because
didn't you say you saw it at Telluride in the park, in the town park?
No, that was Magnificent Seven.
Oh, Magnificent Seven. Yeah.
In the rain, just like Apocalypse Now and Hearts of Darkness. In the rain, in the park. Oh my God! What was it? What Coppola said? He said, we weren't making a movie about Vietnam. It was Vietnam. Yeah. Well, nobody was shooting at us, so I'm not sure it was Vietnam. But it was so great to watch that in the mud. But Butch Cassidy just so, and he doesn't get enough credit because, again, it's like he's so good looking. Everybody thinks, oh, well, that's all he has to do is go and be good looking. And that Paul Newman had all the heavy lifting. But it's not true. I mean, Redford is so funny, and he knows, exactly how to play things. And, he because by then he'd done a bunch of movies and he'd often been, the handsome romantic lead. But I mean, in this, it's just like he's so perfectly cast and he's so great. But he's also not the typical gunslinger. He's not Alan Ladd and Shane or, a lot of these guys that we've seen or like in the Bruce Boxleitner, the Bud Boddicker films. He's not like Randolph Scott in the Bud Boddicker films. Or, he's not like, certainly not John Wayne, right?
Not the laconic loner, you know. Yeah.
So, it's just, I can see why at the time it was difficult. It's surprising to hear somebody like Ebert, who usually embraced the new, would not have gotten it. But I could see why people didn't get it at first. But
and apparently even years later, when Ebert was asked again about it, he stood by, I think he gave it 2.5 stars out of 4. He stood by that.
Yeah. That I don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all admitted we're wrong about certain movies. Like one day Steve's going to admit he's wrong about Chinatown, but we all admitted we're wrong about certain movies.
I didn't say it was bad. I know. Said I just don't like to watch it.
It's been a while. I haven't been able to give you shit for a couple of weeks. So I just, I just like, we've all seen movies that we've come to reassess. And I'm amazed that Ebert, knowing what his taste was and his level of taste, that he didn't come around to thinking like this is a masterpiece, which it really is.
Yeah. He didn't go through the same journey I went through on Cloak and Dagger.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Okay. Well, that was Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid on Monday. Can't go wrong with that. What about Tuesday?
I had such a difficult time picking one movie because Robert Redford has starred in so many of my favorite movies of all time. And I found it very difficult. So I finally was able to winnow down to one movie that he directed that I love very much. And the name of that movie, let's put the minutes up on the clock. It is 1994's Quiz Show.
Stand by, going to air.
Stand by film.
5,
Stand by music.
4,
Stand by announce.
3, 2, 1.
And fade up.
Geritol presents the exciting quiz program 21.
Give me the name of the explorer who discovered Mozambique.
Vasco da Gama?
Correct for 10 points.
Temple is an underdog. People root for that.
Sure, wasn't Herbie terrific?
Have you seen the ratings?
I'd like you to meet next week's challenger, Charles Van Doren.
Hello.
How much they pay instructors up at Columbia?
$86 a week.
Do you have any idea how much Bozo the Clown makes?
Gotta be James J. Braddock.
Correct, you have 21.
This guy a natural or what? He's a natural.
$20,000.
What if we would ask you questions that you know?
Well, I think I'd really rather try to beat him honestly.
Just an idea.
Was that part of the test? Yes, I know his name. Halleck, General H.W. Halleck.
You have 21.
constantly amazed at the facts these guys have at their fingertips.
It's been 9 weeks now.
And you've won how much?
$93,000.
Sir, I smell something. That little box in your living room is plugged into something crooked.
You lose when I tell you to lose.
Now I'm supposed to take a dive?
You know, you got these crackpots coming out of the woodwork. You don't have a shred of concrete evidence.
Young man, I am the president of the National Broadcasting Company.
I have you.
And why are you the one that's sweating?
Let him out, boys.
Charles Van Doren hails from one of the most prominent intellectual families in this country.
Dick's on a witch hunt. He thinks 21 is rigged.
Is it?
You should see the letters I get. Kids are excited about learning.
You set a real example for all us boys to look up to.
Just sign the statement.
Sign the statement, Herb. Sign the statement. Who cares if it's true, huh?
Pick. Dan.
If someone offered you all this money, would you do it?
No.
And I would.
Professor, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask for your answer.
That was going to be my pick for Monday, but I didn't think it was a Monday movie, so I'm super glad you picked it anyway.
It's not a Monday movie. It is, in fact, a Tuesday movie.
That's so funny because I didn't have you down for picking that. But like Steve, I am so happy that you picked it because it is brilliant. And I'm glad you didn't pick the Milagro Beanfield War because now it's still on the table for Thursday.
Yes, I was betting that you were going to pick that one.
I actually like that movie.
Well, you and Roger Ebert. But it has an amazing cast. It has Ralph Fiennes as Charles Van Doren, the great John Turturro as Herb Stempel, the most annoying contestant ever put on screen. The seemingly unimportant Rob Morrow, who plays sort of a investigator journalist tracking down the story here. Of course, the amazing Paul Scofield, the old school Shakespearean actor who leads the role of Mark Van Doren, Charles's father. Just so many great people, and Chris McDonald as Jack Barry is pretty amazing, especially after watching some old recordings of The Joker's Wild.
Which
I
used to love The Joker's Wild.
I used to too. But whenever my dad saw me watching it, he said, "Oh, those guys are crooks."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you know who's great at Martin Scorsese?
Right.
He's the head of the network. He's great.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, yeah. In the room with the snacks. Right.
Yeah.
The room with the snacks.
It's just great. Room. I mean, it looks beautiful. The time period is exquisitely recreated, and it has almost poetic dialogue in it, especially between Van Doren and his father. It's really, really well done, and the secondary character actors are spot on. And it shines a light on a really dark time in television history. This was big time shenanigans happening on network TV for a lot of money, and it was. I'm glad that it brought everything to light because it's a fascinating story.
Because you want to know the people that win quiz shows are actually deserve the money.
I wanted to know why my dad reacted so strongly.
I love that. I love that story.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The vile feelings that he had towards them was amazing because, of course, he was around for all of that in New York and so on.
It's like they screwed Herb Stempel. Sons of bitches.
I'm not going to take a dive. Marty's my favorite movie. That's great. It's Marty.
Yeah.
He's so good in that. Oh my God.
So glad you picked it because it's such a great movie that most people don't know about. I believe Steve picked it years ago, but on the show. But it's been like 900 years since we started the 430 movie. But it deserves any chance to sing the praises of this movie. Is other than the fact that Robert Redford had to die for it, but it's such a great film.
Right, and I don't think it's available on high HD disc anywhere. I watched it the other night on my DVD.
No, I have the Blu-ray.
There's a Blu-ray. Is it an import?
Yeah, and I have it on digital.
Okay.
And
so
you can
great,
get it
so well
from,
written, so well cast.
You can get it from certain TV networks as a kickback.
Yeah, so great. I mean,
I'm glad it got nominated for a few Academy Awards, including Robert Redford for Best Director and Best Picture, and Schofield for Supporting Actor, and the great Paul Attanasio for the screenplay, but it didn't win anything. But
no,
it's as Mark said, it's I think a really underrated, underseen movie that deserves to be elevated whenever we can.
If we weren't doing Robert Redford Week and say we were doing Underrated Movie Week, I could absolutely see one of us picking this for Underrated Movie Week, which I don't think we've ever done.
No, that's a pretty good theme.
And it's
pick Cloak and Dagger.
It's not a movie a lot of people know. And of course, nobody knows anything anymore. Like my son today was in English class, and his English teacher made a reference to Scarlett O'Hara and started going off and looked at the glazed faces in the room. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The only person who raised their hand was Isaac, who said, "Oh yeah, you're talking about Gone with the Wind," and nobody else knew what the hell it was.
Oh my God!
It just made me so sad to know that, pre-Titanic, people don't know movies anymore. I mean, it's not true of everyone, but a lot of Gen Z, they're so, and whatever the generation after them is called, is so alphas or whatever.
Yeah.
They're so immersed in social and TikTok, and that there's no interest in the pop culture of previous eras. And it's sad because these movies are so important. And Quiz Show, obviously showed us, was a lens into an era that we were not born into. And I'd heard about the Quiz Show scandals, but this was so informative and entertaining, about that early age of TV. I mean, just amazing.
And I just have to go back and say how beautiful the cinematography is.
Yeah, oh my God,
by
it looks
the great
great.
Michael Ballhaus and
Yeah.
his crew, which I worked with them on a couple shows and got to know him a little bit. But it's so beautiful, and the texture that he got from the lighting and the environments it's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Fabulous. Two great picks.
That taste great together.
Absolutely.
Ray Fiennes I think that was one of his earliest roles. It came out the year after Schindler's List, I think, is maybe his first film after Schindler's List to be released.
His first non-villain role.
Yeah, and he's terrific in it.
Although I
That
guess
was
you
another
can
thing.
argue that he's a villain in this too.
That was another thing that I loved about it, because I told you how I had interviewed him after Schindler's List, and at one point he went into character as Eamon Goff, and it terrified me. I mean, literally fucking put the fear of God in me. So I was glad to see him in something else where I could like him and not feel like he was going to kill me. So, but yeah, that was crazy. I mean, at the Beverly Wilshire, the Pretty Woman Hotel, I'm interviewing him on a press junket, and it was just like, oh my God. I mean, I literally got chills. That's what an amazing, I've never had that talking to anybody other than Shatner for obviously different reasons. But, I literally got chills when he did lean forward in his chair and did that Eamon Goff quote from Schindler's. And I was just,
thank goodness he couldn't do Gigolo Joe for you.
There you go. Fantastic. So that's Darren's pick for Tuesday. It's the brilliantly underrated quiz show directed by Robert Redford. And that brings us to Wednesday and Ashley.
All right. So, there were a few things that I felt could have filled the bill for my usual Wednesday shtick of kind of what's out of the box, what's unexpected.
That's why you picked Legal Eagles.
Yes, exactly. No, that is not what I picked at all. There's there was one movie I came very close to picking because I strongly associate it with my dad, but I'll get into that on Friday. But instead, I chose a movie that I spent a lot of time talking about. Now, here's the scene. So I may hold a record in Hollywood for having survived the longest work period ever with producer Walter Parks. Walter Parks is a great writer. Just ask him. By the way, he actually is. And he has terrific hair. And his wife, Laurie McDonald, she is a lovely human being. I actually have great affection for Walter and Laurie. But
Barry Sonnenfeld doesn't, if you've read his book.
No, he doesn't.
He does not.
But let's just say that look, it's an endurance test, man. And what most people like to talk to Walter about when they're working with him is war games. That's not the conversation that I had with Walter. Instead, the movie I talked to Walter about that he did because you flattered the boss is Sneakers.
This LTX-71 concealable mic is part of the same system that NASA used when they faked the Apollo moon landings. Worked for them. Shouldn't give us too many problems.
They break and enter.
How we doing? Car's in position on the fire escape. Mother's in the cable vault.
Preparing to sever master circuit.
But they're not thieves.
We're getting too old for this.
They know your secrets. But they're not spies.
It's gotta be there somewhere. What's he doing?
Really? Mr. Bishop, do you mind if I take a look?
Carl, grow up.
I give you something to work, baby.
So people hire you to break into their places to make sure no one can break into their places?
It's a living.
Not a very good one.
Now they've got a new client.
National Security Agency.
I don't work for the government.
Relax, Marty. It's just everybody on your team has had some sort of problem in their past.
Now what are you saying? The NSA killed Kennedy?
No, they shot him, but they didn't kill him. He's still alive.
They may not want the job.
Liz, I need your help.
I will not be dragged back into your world.
But they don't have a choice.
We don't want to bust you. We want to hire you. We're the good guys, Marty.
Can't tell you what a relief that is, Dick. And your job is to find that little black box. We got it.
Holy cow. What the hell is this?
There's a war out there, old friend. A world war.
Oh my God.
How is this possible? It's not about who's got the most bullets. It's about who controls the information.
Anybody want to shut down the Federal Reserve?
Hey, don't screw around with that thing. It's all about the information.
So it's a code breaker?
No, it's the code breaker.
Battle stations.
Do you have the item?
Can you guarantee my safety?
Where is the item?
Can you guarantee my safety?
Bossy, you've got trouble.
Here, maybe this might help. An old buddy of mine who was in Desert Storm sent it to me. Of course, he was on the other side.
Now give me the box, Marty!
I'm an excellent marksman, woman.
I'm Carl.
There's a fire escape at the end of the north corridor. Go directly north, about 30 yards.
5 seconds.
Hang on, fish.
Hang up, they've almost got
us. Sneakers is 1992. Phil Alden Robinson directed it. It has a terrific,
and wrote
it. Well, he was one of the writers, but I've actually read what was. I mean, he had a credit on it, but I mean, ultimately, that story came from Walter and Larry Lasker, his partner. It is just a terrific movie. It is so well cast. It has just an amazing ensemble, including actors like Ben Kingsley. I think that was the moment that I realized that Ben Kingsley was not actually Indian. And somebody who's become a dear friend of the Trexperts, Mary McDonnell, who is just lovely and luminous as the love interest in this film. She's just a delight. In fact, the thing that I would say, first of all, look, here's what you need to know about the movie. It's a fun, poppy, zippy little thriller about security experts.
It's the best Mission Impossible movie ever made.
Yeah, it really is the best Mission Impossible movie ever made. It's the smartest Mission Impossible movie ever made. Yep. And basically it's about, recovering a box that can break into anything. It can crack any system, crack any code. And the kind of the watchword or the watch phrase of the entire film is too many secrets. And that's the great thing about it. There's a lot of secrets in this movie. There are secret heroes. There are secret villains. And the actual motivations behind what's going on is just terrific. The third act, oh my God, dude. Like the third act of this movie is so wonderful. It's so tense. It's so well directed, so well put together. The ensemble actually feels like an ensemble that matters. Even in just small ways, David Strathairn and, River Phoenix, who's great in this movie. They just, Dan Aykroyd, just in a couple of lines, they managed to just lay out what feels like years of personal history between them. James Horner turns in a score that doesn't sound like Battle Beyond the Stars, and instead, I think, actually contributes to the tone of this movie. I mean, you walk out like the same way that the movie ends, like you want to dance the way they're dancing. Sidney Poitier, I believe, is in it. Yep, I'm right.
Yeah. David Strathairn, Sidney Poitier.
Yep. Who have I missed, man? Because I feel like
I love Dan Aykroyd in it as the conspiracy.
Dan Aykroyd's character name.
That's right. Yep. James Earl Jones.
Dan Aykroyd's character name is Darren Roscoe.
DAREN R.
That against him.
They couldn't clear DOCTERMAN.
That's right.
Yeah. He's the conspiracy theorist. It's like, David, I think like David Strathairn's like character is blind, but he's driving the van.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, it's nuts,
so good,
man.
It's like Buckaroo Banzai of espionage movies.
It really is. It's like, it's Buckaroo Banzai that's totally accessible. By the audience. And Robert Redford, what makes him perfect in this movie is that all of this madness and all of this plot could have made it completely inaccessible, right? Completely impenetrable. But Redford grounds it. He gives it gravity. He gives it seriousness, but without, feeling like a wet blanket. He's in on the joke. He's in on the
without
fun.
Posturing.
Right. That's exactly right. It's like he is just the leading man. And when the movie gets serious, we believe it because he's the one who lets us accept the seriousness of some of these events and some of the emotions behind it and the history. And it's great on every level. Like it's a frothy delight, and you can just watch it over and over again and be delighted every single time. But that's my pick. Sneakers.
That's a great pick.
I love that.
It's a great movie.
I remember seeing it when it came out. It was only a couple years out of college, and it was one of those movies where I liked it, but I didn't want to like it because I was writing one of my first screenplays, and it had a lot of similar subject matter. So it was like to see this movie come out that did it so well with such a deft touch and so many great characters was both inspiring and depressing at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun, and it's the most popcorn of all his movies, I would say. It's most like, other than this, if you count like The Winter Soldier, but it's the most like mainstream kind of popcorny movie, but still,
smart,
very smart, and it's terrific. And it's wildly entertaining. It's another one of those underrated movies,
Yeah.
One of my favorite little things about the movie is how I think the movie starts with like, maybe I am. No, I don't think I'm mixing this up. Like the way they do the credits, like with the credits, it's they do the anagrams of everybody's names, and like I think like this was Walter telling us the story of how they realized that there was only one anagram for Scott Frank. It was Frank Scott. That's it. But it's so clever in every single way.
It's turnip cures Elvis, blonde rhino spaniel.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's deliberate.
Wasn't that opening scene also filmed in Hill Valley?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, with the Florida University College.
Courthouse Square and Universal Studios.
And it's like, it's such an important thing. Like,
and
you think, why are you seeing this? And
the guys playing them younger are so good and look exactly like them and talk exactly like them. It's amazing. It's amazing casting.
Look at all three movies we picked.
You don't need to spend $20 million on ILM to de-age them for a flashback. Just cast good actors who can play the.
These are all written by three great screenwriters. The Butch Cassidy, Bill Goldman, Quiz Show was Paul, and Sneakers is Scott Frank. It's like, so isn't it?
No.
Phil Alden Robinson.
Yeah, it's Phil Alden Robinson. It's Walter and Larry.
So it's just, but these are all like really smart scripts that are well directed, but anchored by these great performances from Robert Redford.
Well, it shows he knows how to pick good material.
He really does. He did for a long time.
Yeah.
Be a beacon.
By the way, this movie, like, weirdly enough, the DNA that it shares is in fact with War Games and with Real Genius of all things. One of the things I learned working with Walter was that the original premise for War Games was basically Real Genius. And then they toddled off and they just wrote a thing and they turned it in and it became what War Games was. But one of the concepts that they kicked around because they decided they didn't know what to do with the Real Genius aspect of it eventually turned into Sneakers. So it's just, one assignment like gave us 3 movies, all of which I love.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, as we turn our attention to Thursday, I saw this board happening differently. Like, I thought Darren was going to pick Sneakers. I thought Steve was going to pick Quiz Show. And I thought you were going to pitch Ashley Inside Daisy Clover. So I'm a little, now I'm a little thrown because this is not the way I expected this to go down. But that said, so many great choices. But, I'm a big Casablanca fan, so clearly it needs to be Havana. No, Havana was one of the most crushing disappointments. I was so excited about seeing it. It's like everyone's saying, oh, it's Robert Redford doing Casablanca in Cuba. It's Lena Olin, who I love. It is Robert Redford. I had such high expectations, and that movie is just awful, right? That was when he was doing his run of paycheck gigs, like Legal Eagles, which Michael Ovitz famously put together, just to for the agency and for everybody to like make a ton of money, everybody but the studio. It was Ivan Reitman. It was just the worst. Now, Darren could easily pick this. I'm not going to pick it. We picked it a lot of time on the show, but The Natural is a movie we all love, obviously.
Yep.
And Redford truly was, a wonder boy, right? So
perfect in it.
Yeah. I'm not going to pick Out of Africa because I hate that movie.
Yeah.
And I got to be fair to Out of Africa. I saw it on Christmas Eve when it came out. That was our Christmas Eve movie that year. It bored the hell out of me. I do own the score though, because I love John Barry, and I never saw it again. Like I was young. I was probably in high school back then. Maybe it's better than I remember. I also am a big fan of Sidney Pollack.
It's not. I avoided it when it came out because it just looked like one of those pretentious Oscar bait movies.
Yeah,
I'm like,
which it was.
So I finally watched it like a year or two ago. I'm going to do it. It's a Best Picture winner. I got to watch it. I'm going to sit down and I watched it. I'm like, no, it's a pretentious Oscar bait movie.
Okay, that's what I remember. I literally have not seen it since. A lot of movies I don't like I'll go back and watch many years later to see, figure if I have a new perspective on them. That was not one that I ever had any interest in seeing again. Okay, so I'm not going to go through a list because I want to leave stuff for Friday. Because now you've left the board open for me. I would have probably picked Butch Cassidy had Steve not picked it, but that's okay because I have a movie that I think is also one of the great movies ever made. Also, brilliant screenplay based on the book by Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward, the amazing All the President's Men, which achieves the feat of turning journalism into a nail-biting thriller.
Unit 1 to Unit 2.
What?
We're home.
Base 1 to Unit 1. Base 1 to Unit 1.
Hold it, you mother! Hold it, police! There's been a break-in at Democratic headquarters, and they were bugging the place. Woodward, Bernstein, you're both on the story now. Don't get up.
Redford.
I'm Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. Mr. Markham, are you here in connection with the Watergate burglary?
I'm not here.
Hoffman.
Hi, this is Carl Bernstein of the Washington Post, and I was just wondering if you can remember...
All the President's Men. The story of the two young reporters who cracked the Watergate conspiracy.
White House.
Howard Hunt, please.
He might be at Mr. Colson's office.
Who's Charles Colson? Did you know, Howard Hunt?
Well, the White House said he was doing some investigative work.
What do you say?
They stumbled into leads.
Certainly it comes as no surprise to you that Howard was with the CIA.
No surprise at all.
They tripped over clues.
We'd like to see all the material requested by the White House.
All White House transactions are confidential.
This whole thing is a cover-up. It's right on our nose.
And piece by piece, they solve the greatest detective story in American history.
There is no way the White House can control the investigation.
I don't want to say any more, okay?
Have you been threatened if you tell the truth?
Is there a cover-up?
Don't you understand what you're on to? Mitchell knew? Of course, Mitchell knew.
Woodward? Bernstein! Get in here!
At times, it looked as if it might cost them their jobs.
You guys are about to write a story that says the former Attorney General, the highest-ranking law enforcement officer in this country, is a crook.
Their reputations.
Why is the Post trying to do it? I don't know.
Perhaps even their lives.
And it has just this remarkable ensemble because you don't only have Bob Redford, you have Dustin Hoffman, but you also have Jason Robards and Hal Holbrook and just extraordinary.
Stephen Collins.
Stephen Collins, yep.
Decker Unit.
Even the people that they have on the phone calls, who never on screen are just so perfectly cast. It's so good. And Alan Pakula just shoots the movie brilliant. Gordon Willis. There's another thing. You mentioned Connie Hall for how brilliantly the Butch Cassidy shot. And then, we talked about on Quiz Show, which was shot by Michael Paul, the great Michael Paul. This is another movie. Oh, my God, Gordon Willis. I mean, we always talk about Godfather and Manhattan and all these movies. But All the President's Men, just the way it's blocked, the way it's shot, the sense of unease, the stuff in the parking garage with Deep Throat is extraordinary. But just even it's like if a whole Superman movie took place in the Daily Planet, probably be pretty boring. But he manages to create such a sense of energy in the offices of the Washington Post. And there've been other really good movies like Spotlight, Post, but nothing that comes close to All the President's Men. It's funny because after he passed away, I wanted to watch a Robert Redford movie, and I watched All the President's Men again. I'm so glad I did because that is a movie that every time I watch it gets better. I mean, the first time I saw it, I loved it, but it's like, it's just every time I get better, every time I watch it, it's just better than the last time I watched it. It's so good, and he's so good in it. And it's funny. Carl Bernstein and Woodward are not that far from Butch and Sundance in a way. They drive each other crazy, but they have this, they're stronger together as a team than they are separately. Yeah. And
Bob Woodward can't swim.
And yeah, that's true. And Jason Robards is just it's just so good as Ben Bradley. I mean, I can't say enough good things about this movie. I don't know why it's not a 4K yet. It's I have the Blu-ray, but it's actually streaming now on the Criterion channel, and whatever print they have is gorgeous. It looks phenomenal. I love this movie so much. And, it's my pick for Thursday.
It's a great pick. It's a great pick.
Another one I avoided for a while because in my mind, it felt like homework. Or medicine, and then I finally watched oh, no, I mean, it's based on a true, an important true story, political story.
Where the ending.
Ago. Yeah. But oh no, this is actually a terrific movie. And it was also a key inspiration for David Fincher when he made Zodiac. He always said he wanted to make All the President's Men as a serial killer movie. So
and he does.
Yeah.
Well, All the President's Men is a serial killer movie. You just don't know the stuff going on behind the scenes.
And the fact that where it ends is just crazy, you know, but it's not remotely unsatisfying. And, it just, you know, it just shows how important journalism is, as a profession. And, I love that movie so much. And he's just, you know, Robert Redford's remarkable. It's important to say his star power was a big part of why this movie got made.
Yeah.
You know, back in the star system, we had these actors that people would go to see them regardless of whatever they were in. They weren't just like, how big a paycheck can I get to go do the streaming movie for Amazon or Netflix? It was like their movie got important movies made that would then come out in theaters. And, you know, I miss that because, you know, Redford, you know, was part of that, you know, cadre of people that could get, you know, people to see a movie regardless of whatever it was.
It's also interesting that, you know, this is another example of a film where Redford basically co-stars with another actor of equal stature, someone who's another movie star. And a lot of movie stars are kind of insecure and they don't necessarily want another to share the spotlight with someone. But here he is co-starring with Dustin Hoffman.
But he was a lot more handsome.
Yeah. but you know, Dustin Hoffman, his rival, you know, the guy who got The Graduate, the role that he wanted so badly, and now they're co-starring in a movie together.
And they're so great together. They have great chemistry. I mean, it's just, man, you know, you sit down, it's like the 10-minute test. We talk about this. It's like when you're channel surfing and like The Godfather comes on, you go Jaws, and you got to watch it till the end, even though you only intended to, like, you know, go to sleep in 5 minutes. That happened with All the President's Men. I like turned it on because, you know, Robert Redford just died. I figured I'll watch 10 minutes. And then 2 hours and 15 minutes later, it's like, oh, damn it. I couldn't turn it off. Anyway, so that brings us to Friday. There's so much left that our potential Friday picks are, isn't there, Steve?
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, I don't know where to start. The Electric Horseman. Oh, okay, maybe not there. But, I mean, it's funny. Coincidentally, I just happened to revisit for the first time in years a movie of his that was one of my dad's favorite. It was a movie my dad introduced me to, and that's Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Which was a terrific, another.
Was he in that? It wasn't Zach Galifianakis.
You know, there's this terrific way. You know, I think my dad wanted to be Jeremiah Johnson. You know, he's into the whole, mountain man aesthetic. You know, he had the muzzle loading rifle and would go out hunting with his muzzle loader, and they would go on these rendezvous with his buddies, and they would all wear the deerskin clothing and sleep in tents or, you know, teepees and stuff.
Can I just say I can't imagine anything worse than that?
I know. It's like, okay, have fun.
Maybe too intense for younger children.
Wow.
Oh my
God. But it's
God.
a terrific movie. You know, it was written by John Milius and directed by, I think, Sidney Pollack, I believe, directed it. And
edited by USC's editing teacher, Thomas Stanford.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Darren, what do you think for Friday? You got something in mind?
You know, I one of the big ones that looms so huge in my mind is one that I rewatched just a few days ago, 3 Days of the Condor.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love it.
Step away from the window, please.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I was saving that for Faye Dunaway week.
Yeah. No, you can't. It's just so good. And he is so even keeled, and you can see his face thinking all of the time through the movie.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's so good. Max von Sydow is amazing.
Yeah, as the assassin. Yeah.
It's so good, and it seems complicated until you watch it a second time and see what's actually going on. And it's really fabulous, and I absolutely love it.
I love that whole thing. It's like, just because he happened to go out and get the lunch order, he spared, it's like.
That's why you always volunteer to go get the lunch order.
Not only that, he went out the back way because it was happened to be raining.
Yeah.
Always be a backdoor man.
Such a great movie. Another great
Well, and one of our favorites, John Houseman, is.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's Cliff Robertson says he reads everything, and John Houseman turns to him and says, "Very good."
And it's a great New York movie. The Trade Center looks great. Their offices are in the Trade Center.
Yep.
It's really showcased better than it is in King Kong. And it's just
although wouldn't it be great to cross those movies over?
King Kong and 3 Days of the Condor. 3 Days of the Condor.
Oh my God.
Oh jeez. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. And then Ashley, what about you? You got something you have in mind for Friday?
I do. I mean, by the way, I actually think the 3 Days of the Condor is the right pick, but I'm gonna throw out some things that I thought about for Wednesday. The first, basically, because it's one of my, I just think it's a terrific joke, and it tells you everything you need to know about Robert Redford. And that would have been about Indecent Proposal, mainly because the joke goes that there's a husband and wife, they're reading the newspaper. The day the movie comes out, they're reading the reviews. The husband looks at his wife. He says, "Honey, would you sleep with Robert Redford for $1 million?" And she says, "I'm going to need a few days to get the money together." I told that joke to my wife, and she goes, "Mm-hmm." The other one, and this is that I thought about for Wednesday, and it's, it's not a great movie. There's actually some great stuff in it, but it's not a great movie. But it strongly reminds me of my father, who is very into aerial shows, like biplanes and like all that cool stuff, like barnstorming shit. The Great Waldo Pepper.
Yeah.
So we would always watch that together, and it seemed to get a lot of play, like on Sundays for some reason during the day.
Oh, it was a big HBO movie too. HBO played it a lot.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and it's just
not a good movie, but like you said, great moments in it.
That's
right.
Waldo.
It's like the stunts are great, and it's just as a nostalgic pick, like I got to give it a shout out. So.
No, I really enjoyed it. That's one I hadn't seen until just a few years ago. I think during COVID, I ordered a whole bunch of movies during lockdown that I'd never seen, and this was one of them. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, co-written by William Goldman, George Roy Hill, who did, Butch Cassidy's. I mean, it's a very entertaining movie. It's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable.
Yeah. We almost skipped over The Sting.
Oh my God!
We didn't, because I was just going to talk about it. But go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
You go.
The Sting is yet another one of these movies that are set in an older time period, but feel brand new. They feel contemporary, and it's really well done. Of course, Redford is great in it. Paul Newman is, I would argue, even better.
And who's even better? Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw is great because he's the end scene villain, and he's really sort of slick and creepy and just so well cast. And it's a marvelous script, but it feels like an old style Hollywood movie.
And it won the Oscar for Best Picture.
Oh,
and it talks about set during Prohibition. Yeah. So
arguably his most successful movie. I mean, it was hugely successful at the box office. It's still one of the top movies of all time, adjusted for inflation, and it won a whole bunch of Oscars. Like you said, including Best Picture.
With the Scott Joplin music.
It put Scott Joplin on the top 10 list.
Dun 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 dun.
But yeah, Robert Surtees was the DP, and David S. Ward wrote the screenplay, and Marvin Hamlish, doing the song. I mean,
David S. Ward, the director of Major League. And Down Periscope.
You worked on that, didn't you?
I did. Spent many fun hours with
if you want to name a dog, Periscope.
That's right. But yeah.
No, this Sting, I think, and I would say I think the Sting I would go with Over 3 Days of the Condor, but I'm going to pick my two, always the bridesmaids, never the bride. I think I bring them up every once in a while on the show, and I've never picked them. I may have picked one of them, but one, of course, is Spy Game with Brad Pitt, which Tony Scott directed, which I just love. It's a great contemporary espionage thriller. And it was this whole Enemy of the State, Crimson Tide era. But this is, well, Crimson Tide and this are really great movies. Yeah. I mean, they're great movies. I love Spy Game. And then, of course, another underrated movie of his is Michael Ritchie's The Candidate, which is perfect. Just brilliant. Him and Peter Boyle. He's the son of a senator, and he's plucked to run a hopeless campaign, and ends up, obviously running in a very competitive election. And it has one of the great endings of all time, and probably the most accurate. But it's like if you crossed Veep with I don't know, but it's just a terrific sort of, I would say satire, but it's not really a satire. It's certainly not anymore.
It's a dark comedy.
He's great as Bill McKay. It's a black comedy, and then. But yeah, so The Candidate and Spy Game are both two movies that I absolutely love, that I think he's great in both of them. But for me, I think The Sting, won the Oscar, and it's that definitive pairing of him and Paul Newman that, so many people were anxious to see them reunite, and they never did, which is, they said they could never find a script that was good enough. They talked for years about doing something together again because, it was such talk about a dynamic duo, and they never, after The Sting, never did a movie again together.
Yeah, I was in college. I had a writing professor, and I was writing a Western script in college that had two, co-leads basically. And my teacher always said, "Oh, this would be a great Newman and Redford reuniting movie." And I'm like, "Oh yeah."
And in 10 years it will via AI, you'll be able to do it. And then we talked about The Natural before. We've talked about it before on the show. Just an extraordinary movie about baseball, but it's about so much more than baseball. And it's about second chances, and, he's amazing. Kim Basinger is great. Barbara Hershey, the late Darren McGavin is in it, and he's wonderful. I'm just so good. And it's just and a beautiful score by Randy Newman. It's probably my favorite score of Randy Newman's is The Natural.
Love it.
And I just want to shout out to a movie that I think has become lost over time, that nobody talks about anymore. But I revisited it a few years ago, and I think it's terrific. It was another Best Picture winner that Redford directed, and that's Ordinary People from 1980. It's a terrific movie. It always gets overshadowed because everyone says Raging Bull is better. I disagree. I think Ordinary People is fantastic.
Yeah, it's harrowing.
Mary Tyler Moore is in it. Judd Hirsch, Timothy Hutton. I mean, it won. Redford won his Best Directing Oscar for directing that movie. It also won Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor and Best Screenplay. Terrific movie.
I have to recuse myself. Because I do not like Ordinary People.
Yeah, neither do I.
And I'll tell you, I had the weirdest. I was dating a girl who was crazy, and but who said to me that to understand her and her messed up family, I had to watch Ordinary People. She made me watch Ordinary People. So I watched Ordinary People, and after that, I was kind of like, okay, I kind of get it now. But it was like, she would just not stop. Did you watch Ordinary People yet? Did you watch Ordinary People yet? No, I haven't watched it yet. You have to watch it. And so I watched it, and I'm like, and anytime somebody brings up Ordinary People, I can't help but think about that. And it's like, oh man.
Ordinary People just feels like one of those scripts that you get in college where you're forced to cast it and direct a scene from it.
But it is a great movie, and Mary Tyler Moore is terrific, and Tim Hutton, and it's beautifully directed. It probably would be a streaming movie today, or an HBO movie, but
or a miniseries.
But it's certainly a miniseries. It marked the arrival of obviously a very assured director, and A River Runs Through It's another movie that people love.
Runs Through It. Yeah.
It ran through my theater so quickly I never saw it, but I understand it's great.
No, it is nice. It's good. Yeah.
So I'll tell you guys, I feel like to me, it comes down to two movies, The Sting or 3 Days of the Condor. But I'll tell you why I think it's 3 Days of the Condor.
Because you get 3 days.
Because you get 3 days.
It wasn't just one, it was 3. But we don't know how long The Sting was.
Redford in that movie, he's just
perfect.
He's a dude, man. He's like at peak Redford. It's like he is at the moment of his of who he is, like how
Redford alert, Redford alert.
Right. He's fucking sexy as hell. He's luminous. It's peak Redford. Like when you think of who he is and how he dominates a film and like all the things that he does in a film, what we associate with him. I mean, a lot of the movies that we've talked about have been on some level, they've been ensembles, and he's wonderful in an ensemble. And this movie is him. Yeah. It's just him. And so that's why I lean that way. But I could be convinced about the thing.
It's funny. That argument is so compelling that it makes me lean towards the candidate. Because you're right that, I was leaning towards The Sting, obviously an Oscar winner. It's just a crowd pleaser, huge success, but you make a very good case. A lot of these were two-handers or something he directed. And it's like, what about just shows him as a powerful actor? And obviously 3 Days of Condor is a great example of that.
3 day concert.
Although I do think the middle of that movie is a little flabby. So, once he kidnaps Faye Dunaway and that stuff in the apartment goes on, but that said, it's still, it's a terrific movie. I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
For me, it comes down to 3 Days of the Condor, which has always been a personal favorite of mine, and The Natural, which I adore. We picked it on the show before, so that's maybe a vote against it, although we picked a couple of these movies before in the show.
But Billy Joel never opened a show with the theme from 3 Days of the Condor. He never played David Shire. He did play Randy Newman. Darren, what do you think?
I got to go with 3 Days of the Condor, like I said, because it's.
Well, I'm not the one to stand in the way of a consensus. I'm gonna. I love 3 Days of the Condor, so it would be hard for me to say no. And
we get 3 days, so it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
There you go. And it's not like it's not like we're trying to pass a budget for the new year. It's like we can just agree that it's going to be 3 Days of the Condor. And 3 Days of Condor Man. 3 Days of Condor Man.
I would watch that fucking movie. Let me just tell you.
Okay. So anyway, are we agreed 3 Days of the Condor?
Sure.
Yes, we agreed. 3 Days of the Condor.
Okay.
This is the Major.
This is Joe Turner.
Identification?
My name is Turner. I work for you. Now listen.
Identify yourself.
What is your designation?
Condor.
Something has happened.
Section 9, Department 17. The section's been hit.
What level?
What level?
Level of damage.
Everybody. Dr. Lapp, Janice, Ray, Harold. Everybody is dead.
What is it? What is it?
Are you damaged?
Damaged? No.
Are you armed? Identify the armament.
It's a .45 automatic. Will you guys bring me in, please? I'm not a field agent. I just read books.
This is the panic office. Section 917 may have been hit.
Hit confirmed.
It was a quality work.
Clean, fast, first rate.
Except they overlooked one item. You say one of my people is still okay?
Condor, you know him?
No. This is Condor. Who is this?
Deputy Director Higgins, New York Center. I'm controlling now, Condor. Where are you?
How come I need a code name and you don't?
The head of your department just came here from D.C. He's going to bring you home.
I've never met him.
Don't worry. 2 years military service, separated 961, worked at Bell Labs, Communication Research College on the GI Bill.
This Condor isn't the man his file says he is.
But wait a minute, I don't...
Get in the car. Don't make a sound. Don't be dumb. Come on, hurry up. Get in. I work for the CIA. I am not a spy.
Your assignment for today was to go out and kidnap a girl.
I'll need your help.
Have I ever denied you anything? I don't think you're gonna live much longer.
Well, I may.
surprise you.
We have games. What if? How many men? What would it take?
7 people killed. And you play games.
And the other side does too.
Condor is an amateur. He's lost, unpredictable. He could fool a professional. Yes?
Do you believe the condor is really an endangered species?
Conclude the condor episode without any more noise.
We're already visible. Let's not become conspicuous.
If company agents aren't enough, use freelance. Use whatever it requires, but end it.
Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway in danger and in love in 3 days of the Condor.
Well, look, this is an extraordinary week for an extraordinary talent. It's such a loss to the industry, you know, and somebody who put his money where his mouth is. I mean, what he did with the Sundance Institute was extraordinary. What he did to protect the environment, just remarkable guy, remarkable career. It's so sad that we've lost him. You know, 89 these days is, you know, it's not old, it's not young, but it's not as old as, you know, would have been nice if we had him around for a few more years. But but this was you can't go wrong with any of these movies. And to remind us, I turn to you, Steve Melching. What are we watching on Monday?
Well, Monday, who are those guys? It's Paul Newman and Robert Redford in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
On Tuesday, Darren Dochterman.
I'm going to go with a quiz show for the full 20 points.
Ashley, on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, Robert Redford and a cast of loonies have too many secrets in Phil Alden Robinson's 1992 caper classic, Sneakers.
On Thursday, only Woodward and Bernstein can bring down all the president's men. And on Friday, it's not 1, it's not 2, it's the taking of 3 days of the Condor.
It's the taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 days.
3 days of the Condor Man.
No,
see, this is why I want to do that week, where we have to string the movies together. But
Pillow Talk Radio Days of Heaven can wait until
season 8.5.
That's right.
See, you interrupted my great stream.
What? Were you saying something funny?
Yes.
What were you saying?
I was saying Pillow Talk Radio Days of Heaven can wait until Dark Victory at Sea of Love Story of Oh Happy Man on Firestarter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an excellent driver.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to the audience. Thanks for joining us for this special episode of 430 Movie. We'll be back later this year with season 8.5. And in the interim, we may drop a couple of special episodes along the way.
Depending on who dies.
And of course, there's a huge catalog of episodes preceding this, which we encourage you to listen to wherever you listen to podcasts and share your thoughts. What do you think we missed? What do you agree with? You can do that on social at 430 Movie Pod, on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, or on Facebook. And but we're looking forward to joining you. We always enjoy doing the 430 Movie. But it's almost time to record the Glorious Trexperts Holiday Special, so we'll be out of it for a couple of years. But anyway, on behalf of Stephen Melching, Darren Dochterman, Ashley Edward Miller, myself, Mark A. Altman, Eyewitness News starts now.